Hello, Patriots. It's me, Joseph Rothschild, aka MBT. I'm here to announce I've had a change of heart. After looking at all the deck lists on YGOPRODECK.com, I came to a conclusion. I am sick and tired of these TCG exclusives stealing deck space from hard-working Japanese engines. Mitsurugis, come on! So as a result, I will be joining the Megalith movement. This time, they'll be playable.
Good afternoon, Jank enthusiasts! I'm MBT, and this is 10-Minute Testing. The way people talk about Mitsurugi, you'd think it's the only ritual deck in town. Format after format since the TCG exclusives hit, we've been playing blue, and you know who. Well, Doom of Dimensions has other support for duelists who back the blue, presenting Megalith. So here's the list. As always, I'll give you a background about the archetype, a little bit of a discussion about what I hope the deck can do, and of course, the card by card. But first, this video is sponsored by Yu-Gi-Oh! Pro Deck. Despite what some Yu-Gi-Tubers who shall not be named would have you believe, the TCG is alive and well. And if you're looking to start your journey into paper, there's no better place to begin than Yu-Gi-Oh! Pro Deck. With up-to-the-minute reporting on every major tournament worldwide, searchable and interactable pie charts and deck lists, and all the bells and whistles you've come to expect from one of the best draft and collection management sites on the net, Yu-Gi-Oh! Pro Deck is the place to be. Check it out today at www.ygoprodeck.com. Now back to the video. With that, let's make with the Megalith. Megalith is a series of rock ritual monsters that, well, don't have a ritual spell. Instead, they use the effects of their monsters to ritual summon each other, then make use of their non-once-per-turn search effects in order to drown opponents in advantage. Ultimately, this ends in Megalith Fool, one of the most broken cards of all time, summoning a powerful Megalith from deck, usually Bathor, which pops the board. But doesn't this sound familiar? Summoning ritual monsters from deck, board wiping on summon? Yes, cynically, you could view Megalith as the proto-Mitsurugi. Less splashable, more restrictive, harder to get going. Previously, they had a cell in Block Dragon, but now, why would you ever play them in the place of the Mitsus? Well, why are you pitting two bad bitches against each other? The newest Megaliths do something the Mitsurugis desperately need: they negate. This means the two deck synergies now build towards something, and that both are functional in their own right. So with that, let's get into the card by card. First up, the Megaliths. 3 copies of Eritron, 3 copies of Fool, 2 copies of the new Megalith Notre Plura. You can ritual summon this card with any Megalith card and must be ritual summoned using only ritual monsters. You can reveal this card in your hand. This turn, your opponent cannot activate cards or effects in response to the activation of your Megalith ritual monster effects. And when your opponent activates a card or effect, as a quick, you can negate the activation. If you do, destroy that card. Then, if that negated card targeted a card on the field, you can tribute a monster your opponent controls. After that, we've got 2 Hagith, 1 Ophiel, 1 Bathor, and 1 Megalith Fulak. This is Fool and Ak. You can ritual summon this card with a Megalith card. You can't activate the following effects in the same chain. If ritual summoned, you can add a Megalith from your graveyard to your hand, and then during the main phase, you can activate this effect. Ritual summon a Megalith ritual monster from your graveyard, except Fulak, by tributing monsters from your hand or field, including this card on your field, whose total levels equal or exceed its level. That's right, it's halfway between Fool and Ak, as the name would suggest. After that, we're playing some Mitsurugis, 3 copies of Habakiri, 1 copy of Murakumo, 1 piece of Saji Aramasa Kusanagi, and we are playing the Miser's Nightsword Serpent. We're playing 3 copies of Megalith Unformed, 3 copies of Megalith Anastasis, which allows you to discard a card to add 2 Megalith monsters, a level 4 or lower, and a level 8 or higher from your deck to your hand. And once per turn, if you ritual summon a Megalith monster, except during the damage step, you can use one of these effects, but you can only use each effect once per turn. Draw 2, then discard 1, or tribute a monster your opponent controls. Finally, we are on a portal. For Mitsurugi spells, we're on 3 prayers, 1 ritual, 1 mirror for our 3 pre-preparations, and we're finally on 1 Megalith emergence. For non-ancient, we are on 3 Fulos and 3 Ash Blossom and Joy Spring, and I'm sorry that that's it. In the extra, we are playing IP Masquerena, Ashlan U1000. Thank goodness this TCG exclusive exists. SP Little Knight, Dynamondo, Dugaris, Exiton Knight, Castel, Baguska, Tornado Dragon, Gallant Granite, Code Igniter, which allows you to ritual summon, Typhon, Zeus, Mud Dragon, and Garura. In the side, we've got our Wasu for Towers decks, Lancias, Ultimate Slayers, Harpy Feather Duster, Triple Tactics Thrust, and Talent, 3 Super Poly, and a Harpy's Feather Storm. So with that, let's hop into some games. Our first match is up against Draco Tail, and I'll be honest with you, this card in our opponent's hand, Malcharmy Fuelos, is something that we can't possibly beat. Thankfully, we have an Ash Blossom Enjoys Spring for this specific reason, but in a lot of situations, you're just going to fold to this card. We're going first, so in draw phase, we're going to fire off an Unformed. This is just an unbelievable sequence because we get to tribute this copy of Habakiri to summon a Hagith. That means in Resolution, we'll get both Hagith and this Habakiri, getting a Saji to hand and an Unformed as well. Unformed is not a once per turn, so we can fire it off, still in draw for a Saji. We will trigger the effect of the Saji and the Fool in sequence in order to grab a Ritual from deck and the Habakiri from graveyard. In main phase, we'll fire off the Mitsurugi Ritual in order to summon the Habakiri, sending a Kusanagi and a copy of Nightsword Serpent. Nightsword Serpent is going to summon itself, and of course, we'll cycle back the Ritual as well. Finally, we will summon from deck here the Murakumo, tributing the Habakiri, and then afterwards we can go for Fool in order to cycle Fulak. We'll activate the effect of the Fulak in order to tag the Unformed, then we will Unformed, chaining the effect of Fulak to play around Droll just a little bit, so in the new chain we can go Hagith 1, Hagith 2. It pays off because our opponent does have a Droll and Lockbird, but afterwards we get to activate Anastasis, go ahead and make a copy of IP Masquerena, set 2 and pass back to our opponent. They'll draw for turn, and this should be pretty good. They're going to lead Rahu. We will go Amino Murakumu, just get a little bit of card economy as they go for Arthalion and Labubu and Urgula in sequence. Having used the Murakumo, I feel safe to tag into Dynamondo. They'll set 2 different copies of Ketu here so that we won't be able to get all of them, but little do they know, we have a trick up our sleeve. We're going to go Fool for Bathor and pop the entire field. Afterwards, we just need to be able to contest that last card, so we're going to go for Emergence. That'll summon back this copy of Fulak. At Resolution, we'll trigger the effect of the Fulak. For the Fool, we'll trigger the effect of the Fool for the Habakiri, and then we'll trigger the effect of the Unformed in order to go into a copy of Notra Plura. I'm feeling myself. My opponent has 1 card in hand, so I use the negate on the Arthalion and graveyard, only for it to be Fricks. Okay, well, down comes Labubu, down comes Gulamel. Thankfully, they can't destroy the Dynamondo because it was made with an IP Masquerena, but unfortunately, they are going to get access at least to Draco Tail Horn. They'll cycle back the Frixil, they'll walk over this copy of Dynamondo and pass back to us. That said, I don't know how they beat this card, so we're going to go for Emergence here. We will tag this Fool, go to the battle phase, walk in, they'll Horn, we'll negate, and then that Gulamel is going to the yard. Afterwards, we are going to activate the Anastasis. We rip for turn, then we'll go for Fool effect to cycle for another Notra. Then we'll draw 2, discard 1, and those are 2 pretty good ones. Let's go Mitsurugi Prayers. We're going to take 8 here, bring back this copy of Murakumo, and pass back to our opponent. We have a negate any way to make them lose a card in card economy, so this should be the end of the game, so they'll just scoop. Our second match is up against Purrely. Oh, that's interesting. We don't get to see this deck too often outside of Genesis format these days. We don't have the tools in this grip to deal with Fuelos or Droll, but thankfully our opponent doesn't have them. They have instead Nibiru. So what we're going to do here is use pre-preparation of rights to get to the Habakiri, and then afterwards we're going to try and use the Mitsurugi monsters to bridge into our Megalith ones. We'll go for Mitsurugi Ritual in order to send a couple of cards, including a Nightsword Serpent and a Kusanagi. From here, we can summon back the Serpent and grab back the Ritual. We'll go for the Ritual in order to make the Amino Murakumo. We'll trigger the effect of the Habakiri in graveyard, summon it to our side of the field, grab a Prayers, then we'll Prayers away that Habakiri in order to grab a 4, summon back a Kusanagi, and overlay for a Gallant Granite. Here's the bridge, but our opponent goes for the Nibiru. That said, because we have a Fool in grip already, we can still do stuff here. We'll go for the Murakumo in graveyard because it was tributed, LOL. Then we're going to normal summon our Aramasa. From here, we can link off for an Ashlan U1000 in order to grab a Megalith Aeratron and sneak the Fool out anyway. From here, we can use the Fool to get back the Aeratron, then the Fool effect in order to cycle into Hagith, and we're still off to the races. Hagith here is going to grab us an Unformed. We'll use the effect of the Unformed in order to get another copy of Hagith. Hagith effect is going to grab us a copy of Anastasis, which we will now activate. We'll activate the Anastasis, pitching this useless pre-preparation of rights, and getting ourselves a Hagith into a Fulak. From here, we can draw 2, discard 1. We will do just that, an Ash Blossom, and grab back the Aeratron before going for the Fulak for the Hagith for a 3rd time. We'll get the Emergence and then link off for Dynamondo and an IP Masquerena before setting 2 and passing. I'm feeling great about this. Our opponent's going to begin with a copy of Purrely Pretty Memory. We both go up to 9, and down comes Purrely. Purrely effect activates, and they'll chain the effect of Rainbow Bridge of Salvation. Afterwards, they are going to go to the main phase, activate Stray Purrely Street, and activate My Friend Purrely afterwards. We're going to go for the Dynamondo here. I'll special back the Fool. From this position, we can go for Fool in order to get a Bathor. This is just a little too juicy to pass up. We'll use Anastasis to chain block as the Habakiri also searches off of this interaction, and we'll blow up everything we can. They'll go for Street again. They'll go Delicious Memory. We will go for the Murakumo to get card economy, and they go for Purrely. They kind of have to hit off this, but we can go Aeratron on their turn to go into Notra Fulro, which means even if if they do, they're not going to be able to do anything with it. They do, we'll go for Mitsurugi Mirror here in order to shuffle that back, then Prayers in order to summon back this Murakumo and blow up the last remaining card. Pretty Memory comes down, we'll negate it because I'm feeling myself, and they are just dead in the water. We'll draw for turn, and God, these guys are so big. We'll switch them to attack position. 37, 32, 5, and 8, I think is 9, but I haven't done math. So it's time for game 3, and you know what that means, a best of 3 versus meta. Our opponent's playing what else but Yummy Mitsurugi, and wait a minute, Habakiri Ritual? Oh no, these are my cards! All right, they're going first. They're going to begin with a copy of Habakiri. We will Ash Blossom this, only for them to reveal they already have the Mitsurugi Prayers and the Mitsurugi Ritual. They will tribute the Habakiri first and foremost in order to grab a mirror. Then they're going to go for Ritual, summoning this copy of Murakumo from hand. Afterwards, going to normal summon a Lollipo Yummy. They're going to target our Ash Blossom and then make a Snatchy. Snatchy here is going to grab them a Mignon. Mignon will target the Lolly, and then they're going to go into a Cupsy Yummy way. This gets them everything they could ever want. They're going to go for the Cupsy Yummy, activate the effect in order to grab Surprise, into Yummy Snatchy, into Lollipo Yummy Way, Soul Charge, and then afterwards they will sync off for the Star Ham. They'll pitch the Surprise here for the Marshmallow Yummy, and the Marshmallow will cycle back the Yummy Surprise as they make Herald of the Arclight. Mirror here, triggering the effect of the Murakumo in Yard, setting 2 and passing turn. Not great. Okay, well maybe we can make this work. We're going to begin with Anastasis. We'll activate the effect. Down comes the Murakumo. Okay, we will discard, and we are just so far down in card economy already, courtesy of the Herald of the Arclight, that I don't know what we're going to be able to do. We do get to tribute it, courtesy of the Anastasis. They'll trigger the effect of the Herald of the Arclight, but I don't know if we have the material to make this work. We're going to go for Mitsurugi Ritual here. They'll go for Snatchy and Cupsy. We are going to send 2 for Murakumo. We'll trigger it and Kusanagi and Night Sword Serpent in the same sequence as they go for the effect of the Cupsy Yummy. That does all resolve, which is something. We do get to wipe the board, but they get to go for Prayers in order to take 800 and bring Murakumo right back, wiping us in the process. We'll go Fool into a copy of Aeratron. They do get to wipe here. We will go for the effect of the Murakumo. They have the Ghost Bell, and we'll just scoop it up. A lot of back and forth there. Unfortunately, we ended up holding the short straw. For game 2, we are going first, and our hand looks I mean, not terrible. Unfortunately, our opponent's hand contains a card we can't beat. So, here we go, I suppose. We're going to go to main phase and normal summon this copy of Aramasa. They will Ash Blossom it. That's frustrating. Afterwards, we're going to go for the Unformed, and down comes the Foolos. Oh, God. Okay, well, we can make a Hagith here. We'll trigger the effect of the Hagith as they draw a card. We'll go for the Anastasis, and we'll triple Tactics Thrust in order to set a Harpy's Featherstorm. That's just the best we can hope for, I believe. We'll pass back to our opponent on a Castell as we HFD, but they can still get a lot done here. They'll go Preparation of Rites, and then afterwards we're going to go for the Mitsurugi Mirror in order to summon out the Murakumo. They're going to go into Snatchy, special out the Cupsy and the Cookie, and go to the battle phase, walking over our monster and putting up a pretty formidable offense with a copy of Ash Blossom in hand. Okay, maybe we can make it work. We'll draw for turn. That's not it. We'll just scoop it up. So we're back with the deck, and, well, okay. Let's do the pros and cons. First, the pros. 1, the new cards are incredible. Megalith gets way more search power as a result of these. Anastasis is non-targeting removal. It draws. Plura negates. Half these cards don't have a once per turn on them. Unformed is a tributing E-Telly that is not once per turn. Hagith searches a spell trap every time it's summoned. It's shocking how well the old cards and the new cards work in harmony with each other. 2, the Mitsurugis are crazy. Both bridge into each other. Unformed works really well with the Mitsurugi monsters. It's just a match made in heaven. And 3, your opponent is not going to have a clue what you're doing. And the cons. 1, Droll. I mean, you know that this was coming. This card's a pain if you don't see Unformed and a Mitsurugi Ritual. 2, non-engine space is really tight. One downside to playing like 19 engine requirements is there's just no room left. And 3, man, I really cannot shake the feeling that we're just doubling down on some of Mitsurugi's weaknesses. Ultimately, I can't say in good conscience that this deck is better than Yummy Mitsu. But realistically, what can? So that's that. Thanks so much for watching. These 10-minute testings are made possible by, and occasionally suggested by, my patrons, some of whom have paid a lot of money to be mentioned at the end of this video. Those are Elena Tincher, Allison Elliott, Ally, APK Purrely Tier 0, Brett Henry, Cool Name, Damon O'Neill, Dark Rebel XYZ, DJ Elefante, El Gravo, El Secert, Emiliano Deverio, NB Adams, Fabrizio Petroli, Felix, Franco Romero, Garrett Duran, Hergalicious, I paid $15 for MBT to say this really long name at the end of a video, John Paradise, Night Mary, Cole Offline, Loriano Cortez, Legal Rights, Lucas Rosas, Luis Hernandez, MasterKey090, Matthew M. Derezo, MBT Hablando en Español, MBT Play Madolce, Mike Carlotti, N54 Lionheart, Nacho Gonzalez, Pombo, Project Mercury, Pyramid, Artisan Field Cloths, TCG Accessories, Ransom My Thing, Rohan Doge, Rose Lapine, Serpentax, Shifter.mp8, Sly Ninja 43, Troy Says By Erasure is Gay, Booznik, Yuki Kazami, and Zircon Sun. Couldn't have done it without you.